So hello guys and welcome to my first NHL play-in round predictions. Today I will be covering the series between the 5th seeded Pittsburgh Penguins in the East and the 12th seeded Montreal Canadiens in the East. So it will be the battle of the Eastern Conference. We have 4 of these playing rounds played in the East. We have 4 of these playing rounds played in the West. So make sure to check my channel because we will do also the cover or the preview, so to call it, of the other 7 playing series. But let's start with this one. And this should be an interesting one. Pittsburgh Penguins finished the season basically, or before the coronavirus pause, they had 86 points for 40 wins, 23 losses, and 6 overtime losses. So an overall good performance by Pittsburgh. They were just unlucky that they were not able to basically slip into the top 4, and they must play a playing round. And Montreal Canadiens, they are on the other side very lucky to be in the playoffs because they were the 12th team in the East, so otherwise they probably, I would think, they wouldn't get to the playoffs in the end of the season. But as of right now, they are in the playing round, so anything could happen. They can even go for a big run and win Stanley Cup. However, it is very not so probable. So Montreal Canadiens with 31 wins, 31 losses, so they have a 500 record and 9 overtime losses. They had 71 points, so you can see that between those two teams there is a 15-point gap, so Pittsburgh gained 15 more points in this coronavirus shortened season. Okay, so on the Pittsburgh side, let's look first at the goaltenders. We have Tristan Jarry here with 92.1% of the goal goal saving percentage, and then we have Matt Murray with 89.9 save percentage. Out of these two, who will be the starter? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think Mike Sullivan will decide based on their recent form, so based on their form in the training camps. And right now, I think that it's 50-50 for both of these guys. However, if I would have to say who I think personally would be the starter in this series against Montreal for Pittsburgh side, I would probably lean more to more experienced Matt Murray. So I will give here a red point next to the goalie, which I think will be the starter. On the Montreal Canadiens side, it's a very easy choice. Of course, Primo was their best goalie according to save percentage with 93.1%, but he has played only 2 games, so that's not very relevant. And of course, the starter will be the Canadian superstar Carey Price, who has got this season 90.9, so almost 91 save percentage, 91%. Carey Price, there was this big discussion if Carey Price could carry himself Canadians to the next round. I think no. I think that Carey Price is no longer that. He's still a top goalie, he's still one of the best in the business, but he is not, I would think, right now at that elite level that he was back in year 2012 when he won the Hart Trophy, I guess, and when he just, was able to beat by himself any team in the league. I think that right now Carey Price is a very good goalie, is one of the best, but he himself would not be able to keep Penguins off the boards, of the scoreboard. That's just my personal opinion. It will be very hard for Montreal, this matchup, but they have to be happy to be at least in the playing rounds, and anything can happen from here on. We have never seen this situation before in the NHL, so it will be very interesting to see what will happen. Okay, so the most productive guys from each team. From Pittsburgh, it is Evgeny Malkin with 25 goals, 49 assists, and overall 74 points, so a very good season by Evgeny Malkin. because you have to keep in mind that he was also injured, I think, for a couple of games. And of course, here you would expect Jay Gensel as the scoring leader in goals and in points, of course, Sidney Crosby. But we know that Sidney Crosby had core muscle surgery, so he was not available for a considerable amount of games. So that's why he's not here at the top. And for Montreal Canadiens, which really makes me happy, is Tomáš Tatar from Slovakia, which is from where I'm from. So I'm very happy about Tomáš Tatar and his performance this season. He had scored 22 goals, 39 assists, and it's a grand total of 61 points. So I think that Tomáš Tatar, this was definitely his career year, and in the playoffs, I think he could be a very difficult player to play against as well. He has got really good speed, really good wrist shot. So I'm hoping that Tatar would give some other great performances also in this playing round and maybe even further. We will see. But Tomáš Tatar was training right now in Slovakia here on the rink with his other Slovakian peers from NHL like Andrej Sekera, or also other players like Marko Daňo, etc. So I think that Tatar should be in shape, but we'll see. We'll see, right? What will happen in the beginning of the August when the playing round is supposed to be started. And we still do not know hub cities, so we don't know where it will be played. Pittsburgh is quite high in that conversation, so we'll see if it will be Pittsburgh. Montreal is probably out of the conversation. I don't think it will be Montreal. However, there is still some chance, but Pittsburgh right now, and I think Toronto and Columbus seem to be the front runners for the hub city in the East. So we will see where the players will play. Let's go to the power play percentage and PK, so penalty kill. Power play percentage for Pittsburgh on the 16th place overall in the league, so not that good, 19.9%. That's not very good according to Pittsburgh, but of course we have to keep in mind that Sidney Crosby was out for a considerable amount of games, so of course Sidney Crosby is the most important player in power play. He's very creative, he can find other players with great passes, he can shoot also the puck quite good, so Sidney Crosby, that was a big loss, and I would say that that's the reason why this power play percentage is so low for Pittsburgh this season. And also you have to keep in mind that Jay Gensel was out with a shoulder injury, I think also for a considerable amount of time, so that also affected why the power play percentage is so low for the Pittsburgh Penguins this season. When you look at PK for the Pittsburgh, it's on the 8th spot, so kind of a good PK for them, 82.1%, that's a solid penalty kill. And when you basically add it all together, it makes over 100%. So it is generally agreed that if a team has a sum of power play percentage and penalty kill percentage over the 100% mark, it is a kind of a good season for them. So I guess good season for Pittsburgh, over 100%. And let's move to the Montreal side. Power play percentage not that good, 22nd in the league with only 17.7, so even worse than Pittsburgh. And penalty kill not that good as well, 19 in the league, 78.7%. When you add these numbers together, you will not get 100%, so not that good for Montreal. And yeah, the power play for Montreal is not working this season really. The PK is not as well. So this may be the decisive factor between the two teams. Pittsburgh should have better power play, they should have a good penalty kill, but of course the teams and all the players have not played a regular game on the ice for like right now over 3 months. It may be like over 4 months till, or even over 5 months when we are able to play again in August. So everything could change, everything could develop differently, and so do not put that amount of value to those numbers, because they really don't mean anything when you consider how long these guys have not been on the ice skating or playing a regular game. So, but yeah, it's interesting to look at the numbers just to so say. Right now, let's look at goals for, goals against, and goal differential. On the Pittsburgh side, it's good. 224 goals forward, so they have scored 224 goals, which is 12 more than Montreal, and they have goals against. They have conceded only 196 goals, which is 25 goals less than Montreal. Overall, it is a plus 28 differential for Pittsburgh. On the Montreal side, the goals for, so goals scored is 212. The goals against, goals allowed, as you may call it, it's 221. So overall, they have a goal differential of -9. So here is an advantage to Pittsburgh, of course, as well as here. You could say that Pittsburgh is better here. Pittsburgh is also better here. Malkin has more points than Tatar, but you cannot really tell which player was playing better this season just based on stats, because we know that Montreal was not scoring that many goals, and of course goaltenders. I would probably give an edge to Montreal, of course, with Carey Price, but we'll see. We'll see. And right now, players to watch. So I pick 3 players from each team from Pittsburgh. My number 1 pick is Jake Gensel. Of course, Jake Gensel was injured and he should be back for the play in round 4 Pittsburgh. That should be a great addition. Jake Gensel is a gorgeous player. His shooting skills are phenomenal. He can shoot that puck really well. He can score goals, and his chemistry with Sidney Crosby is very good, of course. So Jake Gensel should be a very interesting piece in Mike Sullivan's squad. Number 2, you have to go with Sidney Crosby as well. Sidney Crosby, one of the best, or if not the best hockey player in the world for many, many years. And Sidney Crosby could win a game by himself. His passing abilities are very good. His shooting, not that bad as well. And he could work on power play. So he's a very valuable player, of course, for Pittsburgh. And then goalie. I went with goalie. Of course, goalie is very important, but I gave here a sign that I question sign. I really don't know which goalie here will be. Will it be Tristan Jarry, 92.1 save percentage, or will it be the more experienced Matt Murray with 89.9 percentage? I don't know. I went with Murray as a starter, I would guess, but I think that Jarry could go as well. I wouldn't be surprised if it would be Jarry either. So the goalie will be definitely an important part of the Pittsburgh roster in that first playing round. And for Montreal, I went with Carey Price, of course. Carey Price has to give his best if Montreal wants to progress and wants to move forward, wants to defeat Pittsburgh. Carey Price has to play his best game as he possibly can. Carey Price will be the decisive factor in this series. This was said many times. If he will stand on his head and would just would pick every single puck, he would be able to save those big chances by Pittsburgh that could really just absolutely pump the energy level of his teammates up. And that could be a decisive factor. So Carey Price and his game in the net will be very important for the Habs. Then I went with the Slovak guy, of course, Tomáš Tatar. And I think that Tatar could put up a nice performance. And then with number 3, I went with Nick Suzuki, the young guy, the rookie. Suzuki was playing really well this season. I think he could show some progress in the playoffs as well. And he's a very good hockey player. And I was impressed by his game even this season. So I think that Nick Suzuki luck to him, and I think that he could show some of his skills even in the playing rounds. So let's go to my personal predictions. To say so, this will be played, just to remind you, for the 5-game series it will be. So first team to win 3 games will advance to another first regular playoff round, so to call it. And I personally don't see Montreal beating Pittsburgh. I really don't. I think that Pittsburgh would just control the game, would win, and would move forward. I think that Pittsburgh are favorites, and I think that they would They would basically defeat Montreal Canadiens in how many games? I don't know. I don't know if it will be a 5 game series. I think rather I'm inclining to uh, 4 game series. So I would say that my personal prediction would be 3 games for Pittsburgh and 1 game for Montreal. So Pittsburgh will be, according to me, moving to another round, and then we'll see who they will play. That's just my personal predictions. I don't want to insult any of the Habs fan. I think they have a good chance as well, but it will be all matter to Carey Price and how he will play, and of course the forwards and defensemen as a whole team, how Claude Julien will prepare his squad for this series against the strong side of the Pittsburgh, which has won 2 Stanley Cups in the last 4 years. Still, they are considered to be one of the best teams in hockey, even now. I think Pittsburgh, 5th in the Eastern Conference, not too shabby. They would be in playoff even without this playing round. Montreal, I'm not so sure. So Montreal could only gain from this situation. Pittsburgh could, on the other side, only lose. But I think that Pittsburgh would eventually overcome Montreal and would go to another round. Thank you guys very much for watching. We have come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and comment down below. Who do you think will go to another round? Who do you think will advance further? Will it be Pittsburgh, the favorites, or will it be the upset by the Montreal Canadiens? Make sure to also subscribe. It would mean a lot for me, guys. And once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again probably quite soon. Bye, guys.